Welcome to New Life Live, the premier place to receive free advice from Christian psychologists and counselors for the mental, emotional, relational, and spiritual challenges you face. Since 1988, we've offered compassionate responses that combine God's truth with proven psychological principles to guide you toward healing. Our phone lines are open. Call us now at 1-800-229-3000.
Welcome one and all to New Life Live. Hello, it's Brian Perez. So happy that you're able to spend some time with us today. It's Veterans Day. Thank you to each and every one of you who has served in the military, including our very own Dr. Jackie Mack Harris, one of the co-hosts you hear on New Life Live. She is a United States Air Force veteran. Today we've got clinical psychologist Dr. Jill Hubbard and licensed marriage and family therapist Chris Williams. And Chris can't help it. He's got something to confess.
Always.
It's good for the soul, right, Chris?
Yes, it's good recovery work. Okay, so being Veterans Day is when my dad was still with us, I would call him every Veterans Day. He served in the military, served in the Vietnam War, and just thank him, and usually we would have some funny and light banter around it all, but just a real kind of tradition that I established. Now, since he passed away in quite a few years ago, 2019, and actually shortly after Veterans Day in 2019, it's been in my mind to be like, oh, well, his two brothers who are still alive also served, my two uncles. I was like, I need to give them a call and restart the tradition, but I haven't done it. Here's the confession. We hear this saying, that the road to hell is paved with good intentions, and that I have a lot of good intentions, but oftentimes little follow through. And there was a verse I was reading the other day in Galatians, and it basically says this, again, the Chris Williams version: whenever it is possible, or whatever it is in your power, do good. Do the good work of God. And we see this over and over, that, whether it be a light on a hill or whether it be in Proverbs, a very similar verse, whenever it is in your power to do good, do it, and or spur one another towards good deeds. My confession is that I believe my intentions are enough. And guess what? They are not.
Well, and Chris, with ADHD, sometimes
yes.
we think about something, and it's almost as if we have done it.
Yes,
right?
Absolutely. The intensity of the thought confuses it for action.
Yes, exactly. So sometimes you have to actually write it down to do.
Absolutely. So one of the things I was thinking about is that what is the thing that has gnawed inside of me, that has sort of been spurred inside of me, that I have been procrastinating, not doing, that is within my power to do that good. And so that's where I want to encourage all of us, because I think that really God, through His Spirit, is nudging us continually. And that we come up with, if you're like me, we come up with our excuses of why not to. And I pray for a little bit more of the kind of spirit that my late father-in-law had. So my wife's father, he always just seemed to do the right thing or the good thing without debate, without any, fanfare, and certainly not knowing what his right hand was doing from his left hand. And so his name is Wayne, and I want a little bit more of what Wayne had, and that is, hey, when it is within me to do the good and it's prompted within me, go ahead and do it.
So does that mean you're going to call your uncles today?
Yes, I'm going to call I'm going to call maybe both.
I'm going to check in with you next time.
Check in with me, yes. He might be a little shocked, but I'm going to do it.
It's okay.
Yeah.
If you give me the phone number, Chris, I can just call them right here
right
on the show. We'll just put them on the radio. And,
it's Uncle Larry in Colorado. So Uncle Larry in Colorado is going to be getting a call. Yes.
Perfect. All right. Good way to start off our program today here on New Life Live with Chris Williams. Dr. Jill Hubbard is here as well. And we're going to go to the phones in just a moment. Zoya, you're going to be our first caller up. Thank you so much for holding. We'll get to you in just a little bit here on New Life Live. Thanks so much for listening today and for watching us as well. We'll be right back.
So many times we get calls about loss and grief, and it's one of life's most profound challenges. It affects our mind, our body, and our spirit in deep and lasting ways. Grief is something that we will all experience, but we experience it differently. I want to invite you to our upcoming webinar, Coping with Loss, a grief webinar. Our webinar is 90 minutes. We are going to have Laura Mange-McDonald present, and whether you're grieving the death of a loved one or walking through another kind of loss, this session offers biblical insight, emotional support, and practical tools to help you move forward.
The Coping with Loss Grief webinar is Thursday evening, November 13th. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE or go online to newlife.com. Discover God's plan for healing and take the next step towards peace, hope, and wholeness. 1-800-639-5433. To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
And let's go right to the phones. Here is Zoya listening on WAVA in Alexandria, Virginia. Welcome, Zoya, to New Life Live.
Thank you.
How can we help you today?
Well, the abbreviated question is how to pray for my child. And the longer question is, he is transgender, meaning she was born as a girl. He's 25, immature as can be, defiant, depression, so that adds to it, and transgender. And I never know who and what I'm talking to. Is it the immature? Is it the depression talking? Or is it just pure evil? I don't know. So my question is how to pray for my child, given that I've never really had a good day of being a parent. It goes back to childhood, just difficult, etc.
How old is your child now?
And I've never been able 25.
I'm sorry, say that again?
25.
25.
Okay.
Yeah, so...
And
go ahead, Zoya.
it's shameful. It's sort of shameful to me to admit I've never had a day to say thank you. I'm really grateful to have this child. I mean, I just...
From the time she was little?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well,
And where I am now, let me just finish, is the best thing, the best prayer for me has been not to hope, not to give me this, etc., change him, her, whatever, just give me acceptance. Just acceptance and not hope. I don't even want to go there because hope is too expensive to afford. I can't do it.
Yeah.
She was 6. People said, oh, she'll be better when she goes to school. She went to school. She'll be better in high school. She'll be better in college. Flunked out of college. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear, oh, it'll be better. My kids had this problem and da-da-da-da-da. Now they're doing great. I don't want to hear it. I really don't.
Yeah.
I don't want to compare. I don't want to covet. And my relationship with God is, I'm yours. My relationship with you is what counts, even more than anything else. Just guide me every day and just help me to accept what is and do the right thing each day. And that's where I'm at. But it always is good to connect with others and, good minds.
So, Zoya, wow, what a journey you have been on. And every situation is different. And so it is hard. I mean, people, you're right, are well-meaning and they want to give you hope, but false hope is not what you need. And it's sounding like the prayer is more for you in terms of the acceptance of what is and no false expectations. So meeting your child where he is at and loving the essence of your child and praying for the renewing of their mind, praying that their mind can be transformed, right? And that will be where healing takes place instead of externally. is something you can pray, but you don't have to pray it with even hope. Just this, Lord, work on my child. My child is yours. My child is yours. And so work out what needs to be worked out in my child in your timing. And help me to just show up and love them without trying to change them. But lean in and just, again, love the essence of who they are, irrespective of gender.
Yeah. I can only affirm that, Jill, in that I'm so impressed with you, Zoya, that you are where you are. One of the things I like to point out that in my experience, the first movement of grace is acceptance. And I just felt like in your journey as a parent, in your child's journey as a person, that one of the things that has been a huge struggle is a struggle for grace. And it's the struggle for acceptance. And how do you accept the unacceptable? Without God, I don't know how that happens. But you're doing that work. And as Jill pointed out, the prayer for yourself is the most powerful one. And again, I was just thinking the same thing. There's nothing you can do to change your child other than pray God with them.
Right. Well, and here's the other thing I think to pray. Because when someone changes their gender, they are basically saying what God created is not good, and they are killing off that other part of them.
Yeah.
Right? They're creating a new persona and killing off who they were originally created to be. So to pray for what is it about who she was created to be that she can't stand.
Yeah. And I think that goes back to...
So self-compassion.
Yeah, self-compassion. And respecting the struggle.
Yes.
As well as, hey, in the midst of all of this, I think that what I would be praying for your child is clarity.
Yeah.
What's the clarity that I need about myself, about my life,
Right.
about the world around me?
What does being a boy do for now him
Yeah.
that
being a girl
couldn't
do?
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, those are really the thoughts we need to get into. If there's opportunity, but we can hold those thoughts too.
Well, and I think
pray around it.
And I think Zoya gives us all wisdom in this. The outcome is God's, not ours.
Yep. And
so much of our hope is placed in the outcome rather than the hope be in the process.
Yeah.
My hope, because what I hear for you, Zoya, is actually you have a tremendous amount of hope, but it's not misplaced in an outcome you don't have control of.
Yes.
Your hope lies in the fact that God is with you, that he does love you. You do have a strong relationship with him. He is your firm foundation. And that the fact that you are praying for your child is a radical act of hope. That God can be with him. God can be with those parts of his life that are
he
confused.
wants to split off.
And split off. Yeah.
What do you think, Zoya?
We buried her. We had a symbolic thing for my sake. And a mock funeral is not is the real thing. It was for me to let go. Yeah, it's been a lot of fun.
Yeah. Wow.
And we hear your pain, and Zoya, we are so sorry for your pain, and can't imagine, although we can somewhat picture
as a mother.
Yeah.
Right? I think it's not talked about enough how much we grieve as our children age and we lose who they were at the different ages.
Yeah.
But then this is on a whole different level, right? So we grieve losing the 5-year-old because they'll never be like that again, right? But this is, again, you're having to grieve, and that's exactly right. I'm glad that you did that for yourself.
Yeah.
And grieving and hoping, especially as Christians, are not contradictory. They're actually partners. Paul says we are not like those who grieve without hope. So as we grieve, we also hope that God is somehow embedded in the midst of all of this. And So you doing that work, to, again, affirm what Jill said, is really, really good. And I think the acceptance part really allows you to accept them or to have a chance to connect with them on who they are rather than who they're not.
Yeah. Oh, I like that, Chris.
Yeah.
Zoya, thanks for calling in today. We're going to send you a registration for the Coping with Loss Grief webinar. We are just 2 days away from that webinar, Thursday the 13th at 7 p.m. Central Time. It goes for 90 minutes, including 30 minutes of Q&A for about $20 per person. And remember, like we talk about here on New Life Live, grief isn't just about losing a loved one to death. Grief could be about the loss of a relationship, even one you're hoping will be restored someday. We're hoping that happens for Zoya and everyone else, but in the meantime, let us help you grieve. You can sign up or get more details at newlife.com or by calling 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Is grieving for not the death, not the physical death of someone, but is grieving, like in Zoya's case, a sign of unbelief that the Lord is going to come through and maybe reestablish what once was? Is that a way of saying, yeah, I don't think God's going to do this for me, so I'm just going to...
No,
I don't think so.
Yeah, I think grief is a sign of something of significance that has been lost. There was this line in a Marvel show that said, "What is grief other than love persevering?" And so what the two sides of grief are that the pain of the loss, the unbearable pain of the loss, but the other side of that is the meaning of the significance of what it was that we lost. And sometimes grief is necessary because we're holding on to something we didn't need to hold on to, or holding on to something, maybe it's a hope of a dream or a career or even a relationship. But that loss points to something significant. The hope part is that God, to your point, Brian, God is in the business of redemption. He is reconciling all things to himself. And so as we have this ultimate hope in God's arc of redemption throughout human history and all of history, we can experience the loss of something significant and know and be assured on something deeper and have confidence in God working out all things.
Yeah.
Well, and it really moves us to this place of acceptance.
Yeah.
Accepting what is a new reality.
All right, very good. Zoya, thank you for calling in today on New Life Live. And now we're going to go to Carmel, California with Sam, who listens to us online at newlife.com. Welcome, Sam, to the program.
Thank you.
Yeah, how can we help you today?
Well, I'm going to quote something from Henry Cloud's book on trust. To trust is human, and when we can't trust, we lose a lot of human experience. And in tie-in with Veterans Day, I have an unusual situation where both my parents were World War II decorated veterans, and the funny thing is my mother would have been more of the career military. She was in the Navy Nurse Corps in World War II, and she left a toxic family. She was really smart and finished high school before high school, and her mother signed off at 17, and she evidently tested well and went to, I think they put her in college for 2 years and went in the Navy Nurse Corps. And my father fought in the war. He was going to be drafted, he and his best friend, and they went in the Marines together, and he came back, and I guess back then they didn't care. But to make a long story short, my father he literally experienced war, even surviving Camp Lejeune. Back then they didn't, I guess, have a lot of lawyers or rights, so people were getting killed before they even left boot camp. But the idea of experience, and he fought in the island. All he did was fight for 3 years total in the islands, and then was handpicked to invade Japan, and then the bombs dropping kind of saved him, but it was actually worse after, because I guess they were across in China and there were still snipers and things, but he never talked about it much. But he used to rage when I was little, and things were pretty great up until about, well, I almost lost my life at 2.5, and for the grace of God, my mom was a nurse and saved me, and still had to go to the emergency room and was revived. But after about 3.5 or 4, starting to get a mind of my own, it was more, anyways, both my parents, the only thing I really saw that they had in common, they both came from really toxic, abusive families. And
so, Sam, we're coming up to our break. What is your main question that you have for us so that Jill and Chris can mull it over during the break and then come back to you?
Well, I kind of got scapegoated and things, and I took care of my mother since I was 13. Basically, I want to know, how do you emerge from a life of trauma and stress and separate from historic trauma and have a meaningful life and feel like I'm running out of time? Because
okay, and
just my life is a real challenge.
Yeah, are Sam, are your parents still around?
No, I took care of them.
Okay, hold on. We're going to go to our break. We'll be back here on New Life Live.
I went to Every Man's Battle in 2012. My sexual integrity was not what it should have been. I sought out affairs, whether physical or emotional. Until I came to Every Man's Battle, I didn't understand that would never fill that void.
Every day, men struggle with sexual integrity. Impure thoughts, strip clubs, affairs, pornography.
The shame and guilt was overwhelming.
For over 20 years, New Life Ministries has been helping men regain their integrity through their one-of-a-kind Every Man's Battle Intensive.
You will discover what the true root of your pain is, and you will discover how to overcome.
You don't have to struggle any longer. Get help in Washington, D.C., December 5th through the 7th. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE to register or to find out more. 1-800-639-5433 or online at newlife.com. Enter the code NLL for a discount.
Every Man's Battle saved my life.
1-800-NEWLIFE and the discount code NLL. Club New Life changes lives.
I think I go way back to listening to New Life, learning so much from it, and then becoming a Club New Life member.
Club New Life is a monthly giving family that helps New Life Ministries provide Christ-centered hope and counseling resources to thousands of people.
You know, I'm so thankful because you know why I keep giving? Because I keep learning, and I'm so thankful for all the lives that you touch every day and the people's lives. So when I get to still hear the radio show, it's just so encouraging to my heart.
When you sign up to support us monthly through Club New Life, you'll make a difference in the lives of individuals and families with godly counsel and connection to help.
And you know one reason I give? Because I feel like sometimes I'm hiding behind a counselor's couch listening to all this great information and not paying. So my guilt of this great advice is alleviated by being a Club New Life member.
Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433. And together we can help hurting people find help and hope in life's hardest places. Call 1-800-639-5433 to join Club New Life today. To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
And let's go back to Sam, who is listening to us in Carmel, California. Excuse me, on newlife.com. What would you guys say to Sam based on what we've heard so far?
Well, my heart breaks for Sam.
Yeah.
It's, one of the things that I've had to do my own work on is I come from a long line of war veterans, as we've heard at the top of the show. And Sam, it just is this almost universal truth that you can get the soldier out of the war, but it's much more difficult to get the war out of the soldier. I've seen over and over and over what's called epigenetic trauma. That is trauma passed down, generation to generation. Now, your trauma was not just passed down like sort of in this mysterious genetic way, but actually in the behavior of mistreatment. From a very early age on, you're growing up in high levels of volatility. So your body has adapted to that, much like the war at home was the war that creates this hypervigilance inside of you, this what I refer to as a buzz of anxiety that you're constantly on edge, and especially on edge around people. But I think one of the most consequential and damaging aspects of early childhood trauma that you have experienced throughout your life is the inability to feel okay in your own skin and good about yourself. I point to all of this because you're not alone. And unfortunately, this is more common than what we would like it to be. But what you're telling us so far tells me that you're ready to talk. You're ready to offload. You're ready to take this outside of you in front of hopefully a really good trained therapist that can help you make sense of it, work through it, process it, but ultimately start recovering yourself from your trauma. But really, honestly, Sam, that's going to take a really high-skilled professional to be able to help you with.
Jill?
Yeah. Well, and I don't know if you are in therapy or not, Sam, if you have gone that route yet. Have you sought out help?
Yes, I had a really mature older therapist for, I guess, 3 or 5 years, depending on how you figure out, once or twice a week.
Oh,
and
good,
then,
good.
Even though I asked all the right questions, he ended up retiring 2 months earlier than expected because I really wanted to. He's the first person to ever give me the safety that I needed. I've never experienced safety, and it wasn't that I didn't. I love my parents and I miss them, but my mother loved nursing so much she went back to school to. She wanted to get her doctorate, and she was somehow not killed in an auto accident on the way home one night. So I basically caregave for her since I was 13 because my father had never finished high school and didn't know what to do, and in order for him to keep his job, I kind of was forced into that role after things kind of quieted.
Sam, how long have your parents been gone?
It's been a while. I took care of my mother till she passed.
Yes,
and then,
but how many years?
And it's been, I guess, 2008 was my mom, and went right from her to my father.
Okay,
then,
so it's been at least a decade. At least a decade.
Well, no, my father just has been since 21. So
okay.
So
you spent
around.
So Sam, you spent this time very involved with your parents and caregiving. What did What did Sam do for Sam? Have you ever really left home emotionally and stepped out to have your own life, your own hopes and dreams? That's what I'm fighting
for now, and that's what I'm asking for, because it's kind of like I was trained, and then I was forced to go to church when I was a kid. I literally, I can remember my father throwing my clothes out in the snow when there weren't any houses around.
So Sam,
I was holding up my mother.
Let me just interrupt you, because all the things you're sharing with us, these are the things for therapy. This is where, and for time's sake here, as much as we want to hear and we care about the details of what's going on with you, we can't get into it all. But those are the things. But you're still living all of the intricate details of every moment with your parents. And so it's like you are tethered there. And so the idea of working through the traumatic events, perhaps having some EMDR that will help take the emotional punch out of it for you so that you can move on and start to have some things separate from your parents. Like, what does Sam want for his life? This, your parents, that's a chapter of your life. I mean, sure, they're a part of your life, your whole life, but we're supposed to separate and individuate. And I think emotionally, that hasn't really happened for you.
Yeah, it's still stuck in that child, trying to fix your childhood as a child. And that's oftentimes what our childhood trauma does. And like you said, keeps us trapped there. Because the other aspect of that is, I would encourage you, much like Jill was saying, is get back into trauma therapy.
Right, and I'm sorry your therapist retired. That's unfortunate.
And those things happen, but jump back in, add group therapy.
Oh, that would be good.
And I think that'd be incredibly helpful. And Brian, I suggest that we send him How People Grow.
Okay.
Perfect.
Yeah. All right. We'll send you a copy of How People Grow from the newlife.com store. Thank you, Sam, for calling in today. Thank you for, it took a lot for you to call in today, we can tell, and sharing your story here on the radio and for other people to hear, other people who might be in similar situations. And we invite everyone to call in when we're here in the studio so that we can help you, put you on that path to healing. But stay on hold, Sam, and we'll send you a copy of How People Grow. right?
Yep.
Awesome. Okay, so we'll be back with more phone calls. Ruth and Tom, don't hang up. We'll talk to you, not at the same time, but individually, when we come back here on New Life Live. Thanks so much for listening today and for watching on YouTube and Facebook.
I was sort of vaguely familiar that the 12 steps had some origination in the Bible. I found Life Recovery, and one of the things I liked so much was that it had such a broad appeal. It wasn't limited to just alcohol or drugs, that it was addressing a wide range of problems.
At New Life, we believe everyone can benefit from a life recovery experience. There are life recovery groups all over the country. They take place online, in conference calls, and in person. And if there isn't one in your area, we can help you start one. We have startup materials, leaders' guides, CDs, Bibles, and more, all with discounts available for groups. Call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE and ask for Terry Ward. The 12 Steps have long been a great help to people in recovery because much of the 12 Steps' power comes from the fact that they capture principles clearly revealed in the Bible.
The 12 steps is really a pattern for all of us as Christians.
Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433. Do you need help for life's hard situations?
My husband recently said he wanted a divorce.
I'm confused on what I should do.
I have an eating disorder.
New Life Live answers your questions on relationships, grief, addiction, trauma, anxiety, and much more, all from a biblical perspective with our panel of professional counselors and psychologists.
I learn a lot from your program.
You help so many people.
I appreciate your ministry.
Whether you listen or watch, there are so many ways to connect with us to ask our panel of counselors a question. Call us Monday through Wednesday at 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific at 1-800-229-3000 to ask your question on New Life Live. Or go to newlife.com/radio for other ways to get your question answered.
I'm trying to find help.
I just want to know how to set boundaries.
If it's a sin, what am I supposed to do?
Need a therapist or a coach, a resource, or an intensive? Call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433. 1-800-NEW-LIFE. To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
Hey, if you're feeling stuck in grief, addiction, broken relationships, anxiety, you're not alone. I mean, you hear the people who call in here to New Life Live. So we suggest you connect with a life recovery group. It allows you to discover practical tools and biblical truth from the 12 steps of life recovery designed to help you heal, grow, and thrive. Because recovery is not just about giving something up, it's about who you're becoming and knowing that your past does not have to define you. Whether you're new to recovery or looking to go deeper, we have resources to guide you like Bibles, workbooks, devotionals, and real stories of transformation. You can start your journey today on your own, in a group, or through your church. Visit newlife.com to learn more. Let's talk to Ruth in Tulsa, Oklahoma, who is listening online on newlife.com. Hey there, Ruth. Thanks for calling in to New Life today.
Thank you. I appreciate your taking my call.
Of course.
So my grandson, he's in his early 20s, and he chose to inform us at a family reunion that he was had transitioned by appearing in a dress with lipstick, a new hairdo, and a new name, and introduced us to his husband, who was a girl who had just transitioned to a guy. So anyway, we were all shocked, and it took me about a month to get over that. I mean, to wrap my mind around it, trying to figure out, okay, how do I respond to this? Because none of us expressed disapproval at the time or approval. But so I later called him, and I told him what I was trying to express to him was that I still loved him, that it was really hard for me to call him by his new name, and that he would always be my grandson. I'm in my 80s, and so it's hard to it's really hard to change something like that. And but anyway, it took me a month to kind of bring myself to talking with him, and I expressed that I loved him and I would always love him, and he'd always be my grandson. And but the part that I meant to relate to him was also that I was not in agreement with his decision. Somehow I never expressed it, and I don't want my
Which
silence
decision
to imply
specifically?
his decision to transition.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay,
And
because you also
I'm not-
mentioned that
and
he
I'm-
had married somebody.
Well,
Right.
yes, he introduced his new husband, which so he was still making decisions, is the way he put it. It doesn't bother me. It doesn't bother me that. Well, what does bother me is that I didn't express fully to him later, a month later, when I talked with him, where I stood, because it makes me feel like I'm being deceptive and not letting him know. Because silence seems to imply that I'm condoning what he's doing, and
well, that is
and
most
that
people's
troubles
fear.
me.
That's most people's fear, Ruth. So let me ask you this. Does your grandson know you in terms of who you are in your belief system?
Yes, he does. I'm a Christian, and I've shared my testimony with him, and I've talked with him different times. Yes.
Okay. So, I mean, he kind of just did a surprise show up. I mean, that's pretty bold, right? Without any warning. I mean, so
yes.
I bet you all were reeling inside. So it sounds like you handled it well in the moment. And also when you talk to him a month later. Here's the thing. Sometimes we think we've got, I've got to tell him that I think it's wrong. He already knows you think it's wrong. He knows that, right?
We've never discussed that in particular.
Okay.
I mean, he's never. Sorry, I'm interrupting you, because here's the thing. That's okay.
It's not a one-time conversation. You did not blow it. You led with love, and that's where you need to start. Because by leaning in with love, you then earn the right to later on have a more in-depth conversation. And I think that was very honest. You said it's a little hard for me. And I mean, even if his name as your grandson, even to ask him, can I, since I'm family and I'm older, can I just consider that your nickname, and I'll call you by, your nickname instead of your new name, because that's comfortable for me. But I think to ask for, and let them know, I'm really trying here. Even though grandson, this goes against, how I was raised and what I believe. But and so I'm hoping there can be some reciprocity here, where I can hear you and you can hear me.
Yeah.
When you're ready down the road, could we have, because I want to really understand, because I love you so much, and I know God loves you so much, and so I want to understand this. How this came about for you, and maybe you could also then have some understanding of me.
And Ruth, do you know how I know that he knows you do not agree with this?
Okay, how do you know?
Because you referred to him as your grandson. You didn't acknowledge his female gender.
Well, my sister and my brother also have a hard time thinking of them as but they don't come from the same belief system.
What I'm saying is this: is that he's known you his whole life. Your life and your belief are not a mystery to him. Okay, so that's just affirming what Jill has said. Now, because I think to again take it with what Jill has said, you led with love. You led with the relational value of you and him. And again, just to affirm what Jill was saying, it doesn't preclude you from being able to let him know some of the truth, that you are struggling with his decision, that you are struggling with his transition, that it's just going to be very different for you on struggling through your convictions and your beliefs on how to relate to him as he is today, or as she is today.
My struggle, rather than his crazy decision.
Well, but it's also to say that, listen, right or wrong, these decisions have consequences. We can't get out of that. And
That's
you're
what I'm concerned about.
And you're experiencing the consequences of this, meaning that you've related to him in a very particular way and loved him in a very particular way to his life to this point in time. That then, I know people would argue differently, but I hold on to it. You now have to learn a different way, or learn how to work through your convictions and your beliefs in the midst of this. That's messy. That is difficult. That is hard. And that is also honest to the situation.
True. That's true. Yes.
Ruth, I often refer to the work of Preston Sprinkles because he deals with these issues. He has a book called Embodied, and he deals with them from a Christian perspective, but he leads with love. So that might be someone for you to look up or get his book.
Yeah.
To give you some more insight.
Yeah, and from the newlife.com store, we'll send you a copy of Doing Life with Your Adult Children, or in this case, grandchildren. It'll apply as well, and that's from our friend Dr. Jim Burns. So thank you so much for calling in today here on New Life Live. You know, right now we are in the middle of a $475,000 matching gift challenge. We're inviting you to give toward it as a way to be part of what God is doing through New Life. Your generosity changes lives when people connect to the help they need, and every gift makes a difference. Make your gift go twice as far when you give online at newlife.com/match or by calling 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Tom in Philadelphia, listening on Sirius XM Channel 131. We are coming up to our break, but let's start the conversation. How can we help you today, Tom?
Okay, well, I'm glad that you took my call. I have had bipolar, and the last episode that I've had, which was actually 6 years ago, was the worst one. I ended up spending 2 years of that mania in the beginning on the street, pretty much. It was a perfect storm in my life. It just where I ended up. Never happened to me like that before. It was completely out of character. It was my psychiatrist had taken me off my meds. That's a whole other story. He was retiring. The last 4 years I've been in a kind of a flat mode depression for 4 years.
Okay.
So I hardly know any different.
Yeah.
Question is that I'm going to get at is, I'm sensing that I am having a hard time moving on, but I guess I have a question as far as some of the things that I'm experiencing. Does that support that conclusion of my own? Like, kind of trying to assess myself, like.
Yeah.
Okay. We'll talk about it when we come back from the break here on New Life Live. Thanks you guys so much for listening, watching, and supporting us financially, and praying for our listeners too. We'll be back on New Life Live.
Club New Life changes lives.
You guys came along into my life in 2022. That was a really, really difficult year of my life.
You can help New Life Ministries provide Christ-centered hope and counseling resources to thousands of people by joining Club New Life today.
I began to really process a lot of things that I've needed to for a long time, and y'all were a very big part of that.
When you sign up to support us monthly through Club New Life, you'll make a difference in the lives of individuals and families with godly counsel and connection to help.
I came out of it having never experienced anything like that, and y'all were there.
Join today and help continue the message of hope to a troubled world.
I knew I had to keep going, and I joined Club New Life, and y'all have been the resource that has now been a light for my wife and I.
Go to newlife.com/CNL, and together we can help hurting people find help and hope in life's hardest places.
Keep doing what you do because it makes a difference.
newlife.com/CNL. For over 35 years, New Life has been the most trusted name in Christian counseling.
Your ministry has saved my life.
If you struggle with emotional hurt, family or marriage problems, the pit of depression, or the pain of addiction, we can help.
I'm down 100 pounds now from what I was.
I found a counselor through New Life Ministries, and it's just been outstanding.
Our treatment programs provide clinically appropriate solutions from licensed professionals, all in a biblical framework.
I have had problems with alcohol. I think God has ordained this place to be His.
is.
You don't have to be a prisoner of your pain. Help is available at 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
She tells me that I'm a new man, and I feel like a new man.
It worked for me, and it can work for them too.
This time it is different.
If you're ready to take the first steps toward genuine spiritual and emotional healing, call us today at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. God can open the door for a better tomorrow.
To get someone that's competent, that's good at what they do, it's been like day and night compared to what I've had before.
Call 1-800-639-5433. To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
Tom, we are so glad you called in today to New Life Live. Are you still with us?
Yeah.
Awesome. Chris, what would you say to Tom?
Well, to echo what you just said there, Brian, Tom, thank you for calling in. It takes an incredible amount of bravery and self-awareness one of the painful realities we see around many people who struggle with bipolar is a resistance to recognize it, to acknowledge it, and definitely a resistance to treat it. Mm-hmm. Now, I'm looking at a 2-year mania into a 4-year depression. That is what we'd refer to as a very, very long cycle. Mm-hmm. And so you want to be able to get into some therapy to see what are the contributing factors. Obviously, we can know that based on the manic symptoms that you experience, even causing homelessness, that you do have mania and that you do have crashed into a depression. Yeah, so we got a bipolar 1 here. And the other thing with that is you also want to see, like, what is there things in your past that have contributed? And not saying
that have helped to create the perfect storm.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly. What is all in the mix? What's all in the ingredient? So I'd encourage you to get into therapy with this. And Jill and I were talking at the break, and Jill, you were just like, why in the world would his psychiatrist take him off medication?
Oh, I know. That sent you into this cycle. I mean, did he refer you to a new psychiatrist? I would think.
No, he didn't.
Wow. Mm-hmm. Wow.
Yeah, he was a very, very good. I mean, I loved him to death.
Sure.
He was ready to retire, and he had issues with his own wife kind of ready to soon pass, and he just decided to retire.
So he
No, he didn't pass me on.
Okay, so he dropped the ball, Tom, for you in terms of treatment. And you know, none of us are immune from our own life getting in the way. But where are you at now in terms of psychiatric help? Are you with a new psychiatrist?
Yes, I am. I actually went to the Amen Clinic, which you might be familiar with.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Awesome.
Maybe not. And, I do have a psychiatrist. I am on medications. We have been making adjustments for the last 4 years. Now, I want to say that the last adjustment we just made was for a new medication called Vraylar.
Okay.
And it has seemed to help my mood a little bit, and I'm kind of finding that the more my moods get a little closer to the normal, the more I'm able to kind of reach out. Because my bottom line is I have a very hard time dealing with people and connecting emotionally. I'm very, very conscientious of what I've been through, and I compare myself to everybody around me.
Right, which doesn't help anyone's mental state when you get on that comparison track, right? Because we typically compare our insides to other people's outsides. And that's never a fair comparison. Okay, well, I was thinking the fact that you could even call us means you're not so depressed. It sounds like you probably are, it's lifting some. So that's wonderful that you're on a medication that is helping to lift your mood. And really important, no more lapses in medication. This is where bipolar, it needs consistent med treatment. And that's where so often, as you were alluding to, Chris, that people go off of their meds. They think, I'm feeling great, so I'm going to go off of it. Or they're starting a mania and they don't want the meds because it brings them back to baseline.
Absolutely.
Right?
And to add to that, one of the things we oftentimes don't recognize is that we chalk up the experience of mania to just mania, and we forget that actually it was also a traumatic experience.
Well, right. So that's the other piece Chris mentioned about being in therapy. That would be an added piece. So even though this is a biological disorder of your brain, you still need therapy because there are environmental issues that add into it. Nothing is in isolation.
And historical issues, for instance, the fear, the social fear that you're experiencing as a result of what you've been through is something that you can work through in therapy. Maybe some shame around that, like there's something deeply defective with
the
me.
Comparison. That other people are, better off than I am.
Yeah. So those are, I would love for you to have a place time where you can talk through that and you can see what belongs to you. And quite honestly, so much of what's happened to you that's still there that doesn't belong to you anymore. You're a different person. You're in a different place.
Well, I'd like to add real quickly, too. I had contacted New Life some time back, not very long ago, and there was this option of like 3 to 4 counselors. And I took one which was closest to me, but bottom line is he confessed he was not that versed in bipolar. My question would be, in the beginning was, it kind of seemed like it wouldn't fit in, but do I need to see a different counselor? Would a therapist actually help me? Because this guy is more biblical. I appreciate it. I love him to death too. But he's not asking questions. He's not asking me any of the right questions.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I just affirmed that 100%. Stumbling on my own words, but yes. So not all therapists and therapies are created equal or specific to situations. So you would definitely want to be able to find someone who specializes in bipolar and mood disorders that can help you really walk through that and work through that.
Yeah. For some people, it's out of the scope of their practice.
Yeah.
Can I ask you one last question? I keep it brief. Keep it brief. Can what I'm going through, this is the $1 million question for me, cause a mental block for me that kind of makes it very almost impossible to have any conversation or have any follow through thought because I'm so focused. It's like I'm trying too hard to fit in. I get a mental block.
It's the anxiety. Tom, anxiety cuts off our thinking. So the more anxious you are, the more you're going to blank out.
That's what I'm experiencing.
Yes. So some of it, right, sometimes we have to show up and act as if we fit in because we are way more self-conscious and seeing things that other people aren't necessarily seeing. So that kind of 12-step line of fake it till you make it, that can help. And when you show up in that way and you act as if you belong, you'll start to feel it over time.
Yeah. And I've been practicing that too, and I see how that works. So I appreciate you mentioning that because it just kind of affirms or confirms what I've been thinking.
Right. And see, people without bipolar sometimes have manic days, sometimes get depressed, moods are up and down, but they're within, a more narrow range than some of yours are. Okay? So you're not that askew. When you're on your meds, you're in that normal range. So even if you're a little more down, realize that you're not this, aberration that's over here and everybody else is different. People can relate to you in that way, and the meds just help bring your brain into the area of helping you to be who God created you to be.
Yep, it raises the floor and lowers the ceiling.
That's exactly right. Yep. Yeah, so then you have to deal with all the stuff that everybody else deals with of being self-conscious and having self-esteem issues and how do I fit in, right? The typical social anxiety.
Yeah. I haven't had a hard time being transparent with people, but it's kind of always being I'm conscious, so I don't do this all the time. Being a Debbie Downer. Because the only time I can really talk with a flow is if I'm talking about my problem.
Well, Tom, let me give you a quick social hack.
Yeah.
Here's a relational hack. Ask more questions and be more interested in other people. Be curious.
And when you first meet people, don't overshare.
Yeah.
Have a back and forth. Practice it being a back and forth conversation.
Until the person is ready to maybe hear more. Plus, you might realize that the person isn't safe for you to talk about these things.
That's a very good point, Brian. Yeah.
All right, Tom, thanks for calling in today. We're going to send you a copy of 100 Days to Freedom from Fear and Anxiety from the newlife.com store. God bless you, brother. We appreciate your phone call. And that's all the time we have on today's episode of New Life Live. We will be back tomorrow. Can't wait to talk to you then. So give us a call here at New Life Live. God bless.
Thanks for listening. We hope this program has helped you by giving you insights for handling the challenges you face in your life. We want you to know that we're here for you, but you also need to know that New Life Live is a listener-supported ministry. To make your donation or to get any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433 or online at newlife.com. Please join us again tomorrow for New Life Live.